Hey everyone, Tankenstein here, and welcome to Stock to Spaded. In this episode, I'll be showcasing the F-86F-40 Sabre. This is a currently rank 5 battle rating 9.0 fighter in the Japanese Air Force's tech tree, and is currently an optionally unlocked vehicle that sits in the same folder as the F-86F-40, thus making this perfect for Stock to Spaded. Now, as with every episode of Stock to Spaded, I like to take this through at least 3 matches, with the first match being fully stock, second match being about halfway spaded, and the third match being fully spaded, so you can see exactly how this performs throughout the grinding process again from stock to spaded, and also see if you want to buy this in the first place and possibly even fully spade it. Now, the big difference between the F-40 and the F-30 is the fact that obviously this has AIM-9B missiles. You can carry 2 of them, but you also have leading edge slats on the wings, which makes this substantially more maneuverable compared to the F-30. Now, with that being said, if you don't mind, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing if you like this type of content. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So here we are, fully stocked with the F-86F-40 Sabre, and we have a Lavochkin. Was able to knock him out, thankfully. Wow, that guy typed in good shot very quickly. Gonna do another head-on with a CL-13 if I can do it. Let's see. Oh, he's shooting early. That means he's gonna want to dodge. However, of course, we are always there waiting for that follow-up. Or not even the follow-up necessarily, but you know what I mean. Whenever somebody shoots really, really early in a supposed head-on, the reason why they're doing it is because they're trying to, like, play chicken. They're trying to trick you a little bit. It's weird. Anyways, we have ourselves 2 kills thus far. Hopefully a third. Got ourselves some damage. That's fine by me. Whatever. Now, when it comes down to this vehicle, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just switch to some other video of me killing someone. Because if you guys don't know, I actually record all of my matches live, right? Like, they're all 100% live. So what you see is what you get. You know, I mean, it's all real. It's never fake. And so the whole concept behind Stock to Spaded, the whole concept behind this is so that you guys can see what gameplay with this vehicle is like, right? So I've got 2 kills, 2 assists, pretty decent. Had another match before, I think it was like 2 kills, maybe 2 assists as well. And so that's kind of like what you can expect with this. You can probably get a lot of assists, which is good. And the main reason being is because you have the 50 cals, right? At this PR, you're pretty much exclusively going to be having vehicles with cannons, but the Sabre is one of the rare exceptions. And so because this has, again, HMGs, you have a longer rate of fire. You have a higher rate of fire, so you can get yourself a lot of assists. However, that's pretty much it. It's just going to be a lot of assists. You're going to get kills every now and again, but typically that's going to be more sustained fire. And unfortunately, when you're fully stocked, it is a lot more difficult to be able to get those kills. Simply because you're not going to have the engine power to compete with a lot of the enemies that you'll be facing. I've been noticing that time and time again. While you do, of course, have better maneuverability, thankfully, due at least in part to these leading edge slats, it's not always going to be the most maneuverable. Certainly, you might have, especially when you're fully stocked, you might have some trouble getting your energy back out of a turn. You will typically, it's going to be very difficult, basically what I'm saying, is that it will be very difficult for you to be able to outrun anyone, right? Especially in an up tier. And up tiers are going to be common, you know, whether it's a 9.3 or a 9.7 BR up tier, they will be fairly common, so you will be facing not only enemies that are faster than you and have more powerful engines, but are oftentimes supersonic, which is kind of a problem. So in those instances, you're going to want to use this thing in what I call asymmetrical warfare, which basically means that you use your turning, and basically a lot of the supersonic aircraft at around this BR, they don't really have a ton of maneuverability. If you can trick them into a turning fight, that's where you can win. But regardless, what we have here when it comes to the F-86F-40 is going to be a pretty damn good maneuverable aircraft. This is probably the most maneuverable of the Sabres. And when it's fully stocked, it's got pretty mediocre speed. I mean, by the time I hit battle, I'm hitting around 600 to 700, maybe 750 kilometers per hour, which will almost always mean that you're near the back of the fight by the time the fight actually starts, and it's got a great roll rate and okay guns. Now the guns do get a lot better once you look at it with when you get the air belts, or the tracer belts rather, because those are 100% armor-piercing incendiary tracers, if I'm not mistaken. And that's just phenomenal. That will set your enemies on fire and then some. So that being said, let's go ahead and get to a halfway spaded match. Hopefully I'll have the missiles by that time so you guys can see how those work. And of course, a little bit better performance. But that being said, let's get into halfway spaded. So here we are about halfway spaded with the F-86F-40. And I do have the missiles, but in this instance, one missile, because of course that's just kind of how it is right now. I accidentally fired one on an F-104 that I really shouldn't have. If you guys don't know, F-104s have ridiculously high speeds, and they're not very good for shooting missiles at. Now this A4 probably going to be a different story because he is so close. They don't really maneuver nearly as well. And, well, you guys just kind of saw the results of that. Now, one of the big issues with this vehicle right off the bat is the fact that... Ooh. Okay, I got a crit on him. That's fine. Oh, and by the way, I do have tracers, which are the armor-piercing incendiary tracers, which are fantastic, by the way. But one of the big issues... I'm not going to steal that kill. It's so easy, I could do it. But I'm not. One of the things with this vehicle, again, is that it doesn't really have a fantastic fuel capacity, and that's something I have been dealing with. Now, once those sliders come out, and they might even be out by the time this video releases, hopefully, this will be able to get something like 12 minutes of fuel, which would be perfect for this. But right now, the minimum fuel limit is like 7 or 8 minutes, depending on, of course, how much equipment you have on lock. So for example, if you have more engine power, more thrust, you're going to actually have a lower amount of fuel because of course you're going to consume more fuel. It's a little bit weird, but I think you understand what I mean. Now if you could just get 12 minutes of fuel with this, it would be perfect. I feel like 20 is just a touch too much because this thing doesn't really have fantastic performance versus the aircraft that's going to be typically facing. So we have an Su-7 BMK, didn't get the hit. Not too big of a deal, but we will be able to go after this F-86. Still have about half my ammo, a little bit less than half. Got a crit on him, or a regular hit, rather. We can turn. Now, the flaps on this, they aren't really fantastic, but as you can see, below like 750, you will start seeing those leading edge slats activating. So, as you could probably see at the front there, very nice. Those are phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal when it comes to like mid-speed maneuverability. Some of the best in War Thunder at this BR when it comes to maneuverability, but not too bad. 3 kills. What I could tell you off the top of my head, off the bat, the maneuverability on this is great. It's always been great. I do not have boosters unlocked, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what those do. I've heard some mixed things about boosters on this aircraft. I'm really bad fighting F-104s, by the way, with guns. They're just flying pencils. Some people find them easy. I don't. It's just kind of me. But when it comes to overall performance, I am noticing I'm probably gaining like 50 to 75 kilometers per hour more before reaching battle. Now, this does include me going after, or me gaining altitude. So I'm not just flying in at minimum altitude and expecting to be able to actually hit, you know, 1,000 kilometers per hour. No, I try to get like a mix of altitude and speed, which is one of the main reasons here why we, you know, why of course I'm getting so speed. But again, even by gaining some altitude and gaining speed, I'm still doing okay at this point. So that said, we have to go back to base. I have no fuel, no ammo left. Totally expected. I did waste some on that pillbox. For some reason, I was just like looking at it thinking it was a light pillbox. Not entirely sure why, which by the way, this can destroy light pillboxes. So I'm going to go land. If there is no more action going on here, we can expect the next match will be fully spaded. But if there is action, I will queue back into it, and then maybe we can get another kill or an assist or something. So we'll have to see. But some final notes about halfway spaded. I am noticing some fairly big improvements on this. I am also noticing that probably around half of my matches are up tiers, which is obviously not good, because this is going to face a lot of supersonic aircraft with far more advanced weapons than this, and far more missiles. This has no countermeasures, very difficult to dodge a lot of missiles. And of course, if you do get into those up tiers, you're going to want to do asymmetrical warfare, or just pick out the slower enemies like the A4s, kind of like what I did here. So that said, let's go ahead and land. I will have just enough fuel to be able to land. Again, performance isn't all so bad. Low speed performance on this, it gains speed pretty slowly, but once you're at 400 or 500 kilometers per hour, this thing starts gaining speed a little bit more efficiently, at least in my experience. So that said, let's see what comes next. Either fully spaded, or we're going to continue with this match. So it looks like there is a little bit more to this match than I had initially anticipated. We still have, at this point, it's 3-on-4. Our team is winning by a touch. If I can get to within like 2-ish kilometers and have him not going across my field of view, I might be able to fire a missile on him. You know what? Let's go ahead and see. That probably won't work, but who knows, right? And, ooh, he got killed. So let's go ahead, turn up. I will have the maneuverability to start firing on this guy. Got the crit. Very nice. Again, that's those incendiary tracers. They are armor-piercing incendiary tracers. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. And that is what takes this thing from being like, when it comes to air-to-air, to very, very good. I mean, like, really, really, really good. Now, I'm not going to go fire on this F-104. Basically, anything beyond 1 kilometer is too much. But that said, it doesn't really matter. But we got 2 kills, or 4 kills, rather, and 2 ground kills. So not too bad. And this wasn't even all that difficult. Plus, this was in an up tier. So that said, let's get into the fully spaded match. None too shabby. So here we are finally, fully spaded with the F-86F-40. Can we get ourselves a missile kill? Likely. Yes, we can. So this vehicle has actually been proving to be pretty good. I mean, is it amazing? No. You know, I mean, like, you're facing enemies like the occasional F-11, like MiG-19s, basically planes that can just completely outspeed you, and that's a part of the equation, of course, but this plane can also pretty damn well outmaneuver those aircraft. And actually, one thing that I did not mention, can I get that kill? Probably not. One thing that I did not mention that I really wish that I would have mentioned is the fact that this does weigh 60 kilograms more than the F-30, which itself is only an F-25, like the F-86F-40. It's the same exact aircraft. It's just the export variant. So it has the same stats, same features, all of that. And this weighs 60 kilograms more, which means technically speaking, it accelerates slightly worse than that vehicle. So not too bad, though. Overall, it's still pretty much the same aircraft, just with slightly better or somewhat better maneuverability. Some people would consider it to be substantially better maneuverability, but that's more so at the mid-range of speed. It's not necessarily a godsend in that regard. So we're going to try to go for this A4E. And again, I do have my tracer belts, which do help quite a bit. So let's see if I can knock this guy out of the sky. Didn't think I was going to wrap there, but I guess I did. Got a crit, and he is dead. Kind of a steal kill steal, but not really. But again, I mean, like, this vehicle, if you like gunfighters, you're probably going to like this, right? It's not necessarily this amazing aircraft that you're just going to love. I think there are better gunfighters out there. MiG-17s, for example, are better gunfighters than this in general. I mean, this isn't bad by any means. However, again, there are just better aircraft for that. Now, this can carry missiles, but I don't really think that the missiles are necessarily worth the price of admission. You know, again, being that this is such a high BR, right? 9.0 BR for what you're getting, there's better. You know, there's certainly better out there, and there you go. And a lot of the time, you're probably going to want to expert this crew, simply because this vehicle will knock your pilot out. I did not expert the crew in you know, ooh, my goodness. Oh, good, I got the Kill. I didn't expert the crew in the interest of making this, again, pretty similar to what most people are going to be experiencing. Most people probably are not going to expert this crew, you know? And so, as you could see, I have problems, even with the G-Suit, getting knocked out all the time. And it's kind of one of the things with this. It's got superb maneuverability, don't get me wrong. And I mean, I just got out of a match where I had like 4 or 5 kills, I think, just before this, with a 150% booster. And it's amazing, you know? Like, if you're a gunfighter, you're really going to like this. It's pretty much just like the F-86F-40 Plus, right? It's a bit better. But personally, I think the F-86F-40 is slightly, just very slightly better than this. Simply, again, due to the fact that that has a lower BR. This one, you're going to be occasionally matched up. Ooh, my goodness. You're going to be occasionally matched up with aircraft like the A-10, you know, or other 10.0 BR aircraft. Whereas with the F-30, you're not really going to have to run that risk, not nearly as much. And you have similar enough, actually technically better performance than this when it comes to just overall speed. So, in general, and also still, ooh, my goodness. I don't know what it is right now, but man, I am not playing, I'm not shooting well. But, you know, overall, especially if you can aim well, I mean, I see no reason why you shouldn't get 2, 3, 4 kills a match with this. But the thing is, you should still be getting that with the F-86, F-30, the F-25, whichever variant you want. So, do I really recommend this aircraft? If you're a big fan of the Sabre and you're a big fan of gunfighters and you don't mind being up-tiered occasionally like mad, again, to 10.0 BR, sure, you know, but realistically speaking, this is not at all a necessary aircraft so long as it stays at 9.0 BR. If it ever gets a down tier to 9.7 BR, sure, or 8.7 BR rather, then yes, I would fully recommend it. It's a fantastic gunfighter, excellent maneuverability. Get yourself an expert crew plus the G-Suit, and you will be set with this thing. But that being said, unless any further action happens here, we have one guy left, I'm assuming not. It's not been bad. I've actually been pretty impressed with this aircraft. So, thanks so much for watching. If you don't mind, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. Oh, one last thing. The strengths of this aircraft are definitely going to be its maneuverability. I wouldn't say necessarily its missiles. Those are more like sprinkles on top. And of course, I would say once you're fully spaded, its performance is pretty damn good. And also, if you can get those tracer belts, then your guns become kind of a strength rather than a liability. Whereas, again, I mean, this thing only has AIM-9Bs. They're cool and all, but not really fantastic. But either way, again, thanks so much for watching. If you don't mind, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Gonna break my landing gear so I don't go off the edge there. Thanks so much. I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.